Welcome to Swipe from Leeds this week. We've travelled north to a city with tech credentials to shout about. And here's a little taste of what's coming up on the programme. I meet the tech entrepreneurs who say being up north is better than down south. Thomas has a go on the MOD's brand new £1 million gadget. And David Beckham joins a number of other legends in the latest instalment of Pro Evolution Soccer. So that's all to come over the next 10 minutes or so. But before then, let's get a quick look at some of the tech stories that made headlines this week. Apple has unveiled its new iPhone X, but it'll cost just short of £1,000 if you want to get your hands on one. Available in November, it has no home button and uses facial recognition to unlock itself. Yumi the humanoid robot worked as a conductor alongside tenor Andrea Bocelli to put on a display to mark the first International Festival of Robotics in Italy. The machine was taught the movements in rehearsals so the computer could memorise the correct gestures. However, it can't improvise, so any unexpected change in tempo from the musicians would have been off-key. And Sky played host to the tech industry's leading players this week. The Sky Tech Summit 2017 focused on the ways technology is transforming the TV experience and the media and entertainment industry. More than 300 people from tech and content companies attended the event, which included interactive workshops and exhibitions. Did you know Leeds is where the UK's first free internet service provider launched? Remember FreeServe back in the 90s? Well, Leeds is still flying the tech flag today. NHS Digital and Sky's Technology Centre are among the bigger names here, but there's a lot going on. So to get a good overview, I went to meet Stuart Clark. He's the man behind the Leeds Digital Festival, and I began by asking him what he thinks Leeds tech industry does best.
Oh, it's a number of things we do really well. I mean, health tech is a great example. You know, we have 23% of the UK's health tech professionals in Leeds.
Ooh.
There's only London that's got more with 24%.
Oh, a fraction more.
Just ahead. We're catching up. We've got NHS Digital in the city. It's the city's largest digital employer. They built the NHS patient records database. We're also big on data. Again, we have more data scientists in Leeds than anywhere else outside of London.
You are good at selling the city, aren't you?
The city's great.
There's also a buzz around the start-up scene here. According to Stuart, Leeds has always been a city of entrepreneurs right back to the Industrial Revolution. It's just the tools are different now.
No biggie, or you can get jiggy.
The 20-something co-founder of JigTalk, a soon-to-be-released dating app that covers a person's face until enough messages are exchanged to reveal their photo piece by piece, is a graduate from one of the city's universities here. He believes staying in Leeds has benefited his startup.
You look at professional Xbox and PlayStation players, more often than not, they're at the top of the leaderboard because they know how to navigate the map. And I feel as though Leeds was the perfect size to know it inside out after those 3 years were over. So I could then come out of my undergraduate course and know what buttons to press.
A familiar product doing well in Leeds is Cocoon, a smart home security device that we featured on Swipe 2 years ago. The entrepreneurs behind it are firmly rooted in the city, and that may have made them more attractive to some wealthy investors down south.
So we've gone through another funding round, really successful Crowdcube campaign since we last saw you. And whilst we really struggled finding investment in Leeds, which I think is probably something that's worth noting and kind of calling out, but equally because we were in Leeds, I think that made us a bit more of an interesting company for people to invest in.
Zemovi, an interactive video hosting platform for businesses who want to understand more about their audiences, has been here for 3 years. What are the drawbacks, the downsides to being based in Leeds?
We don't seem to notice that many. I don't know if we're completely biased.
Come on, there must be some.
We were having a think earlier, and obviously there's the slight rivalry with Manchester. However, we've just done a collaboration with a great company over in Manchester, so even that works out well for us.
How can you continue this tech boom in Leeds right now?
I think the key thing is to make sure we keep bringing the right amount of talent through, because we've grown so much as a sector within Leeds in terms of number of jobs, number of startups, number of bigger companies that are growing. And what we've seen over the last couple of years is close collaboration between the digital sector in the city and the universities. So we're seeing more graduates staying in the city after they've finished their studies. And we're seeing people come in from all around the country because they see Leeds is a great place to not only to work with good salaries in the digital sector, but also to live.
Now, back in London this week, one of the world's biggest arms fairs got underway. There's been some controversy surrounding the Defence and Security Equipment International event, but it's a given that modern innovation has major implications for the battlefield. So Thomas went to see what was on show.
This week, companies and armed forces from around the world invaded East London for the DSEI, Defence and Security Equipment International. It's the largest fair of its kind in the world and has drawn much controversy since it began. But we'll get to that. First, Swipe got hands-on with one of the stars of the show, the T7 bomb disposal robot.
So it looks relatively complicated, but I'm sure it's not.
It's actually not. If you just lift up that handle,
yeah,
and you can push the grey button there under your middle finger, and that's it.
Soon 56 of these robots will be in the hands of the MOD after the manufacturer was awarded a multi-million-pound contract. They will allow soldiers to get up close with explosives while actually staying well out of harm's way.
And it just bumped.
Right. So that is absolutely the haptic feedback. So there are sensors in the fingers, and when they make contact with something, they send that as feedback to you as the user, so you can actually feel what the robot is doing. And that definitely helps an operator when they don't have a system sitting right next to them like we do. It helps them when they're in their camera view and they only have that 2D. They can actually feel that sensation and know what they're doing.
Beyond its primary duty, these gadgets can be refitted to perform chemical cleanups, provide intelligence, or even engage in SWAT missions.
It was very good.
While no deals are actually made during DSEI, it's a chance for exhibitors to show off their latest innovations and souped-up hardware. Even in times of relative peace, defence companies are often found at the forefront of technological innovation. Some of the tech on show here could easily be put in the hands of police forces.
The way we focused on facial recognition is for the real-world environments. Let's be able to do it on a camera on a crowd of people who aren't necessarily looking directly at the camera.
So we have cameras installed in the front of this car?
Yeah, so this is a demonstration vehicle. We have between 5 and 8 cameras now live, covertly installed within the vehicle.
All hidden?
All hidden.
In real time, we're actually coming up on the screen over there.
Yeah, you can see us displayed live time with captions above our heads and the exact watch list and interest details of the person on a live video screen.
The UK is the world's third biggest defence exporter, making an event like this highly controversial. Many view it as a marketplace for war. Protesters have flanked the building all week. But however you see it, this event is big business, an all-in-one showcase for the UK's and the world's top military tech. Thomas Newton, Sky News.
Time for some virtual fun now, and Lucy has been having a go on some of the latest video game releases so that you can decide which ones are worth buying and which are worth binning. Here she is.
Destiny 2 is the eagerly anticipated shared world shooter / part MMO / part first-person shooter from Bungie.
Those who fled are being hunted, and those foolish enough to remain have been executed.
So the thing that's so great about Destiny is you can play it on your own, but you can also play with your friends. It's this shared world, so you and millions of other players around the globe can be playing in the same world, and people just sort of drop in and you can team up together to take down bosses and enemies. But the thing that really keeps me engaged with Destiny and keeps me wanting to go back and play it is the loot system. So obviously every time you take out a big wave of enemies, you're going to get some really good loot for it, and then you can kind of show it off to your friends who keep popping in and out of the game. It's a big release for this quarter, and honestly, you'll have seen the hype around it, and it is very, very good. It basically builds on the original and improves it in almost every single way. Knack 2 is another big release from this week. You kind of play as this little character called Knack. He's made up of all these crazy particles, which is actually very impressive if you take a close look at it. But you basically kind of brawl your way through these levels. There's platforming sections. There are puzzles to solve, It's very cutesy, it's more for kids, and you can play in co-op, which is really cool if you have like a kid that you want to introduce to video games quite slowly. So Knack is a good choice for that. But what's also cool about it is not only is Knack kind of normal sized, he can grow to be like this gigantic Knack, or he can shrink down and you have to change sizes to sort of solve some of the puzzles, which is really quite cool. So if there's a younger gamer in your life, definitely try and pick up Knack too. It's that time of the year again where FIFA fans and Pro Evo fans battle it out. But Pro Evolution Soccer 18 is out this week, so we're going to be talking about that one. As with every iteration of these games, there's a lot of small improvements that you'll really appreciate if you're a long-time fan. Things like close ball control, AI, all been improved and tinkered with ever so slightly to make the game that much more enjoyable. You can, of course, play online, play with your friends, play co-op. And on top of that, you know, FIFA always gets like the big licenses, but there are some very familiar faces in Pro Evo 18. David Beckham is the big star this year, and for some reason so is Usain Bolt. But the tide is always changing between which one's better if you were talking about FIFA and Pro Evo, so definitely give both of them a try. There's a free demo available right now for Pro Evo if you want to give it a whirl before the game comes out.
He just never misses!
Well, that's it from us here in Leeds. Join us again for more Swipe next week, and in the meantime, follow us on Twitter at Sky News Swipe. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.